as our group is in two businesses, primarily healthcare and consumer, the healthcare business had to respond very aggressively in order to make sure our product was available. So it was a mix of ensuring we knew the risks involved and were able to physically move in that particular business. And we had the opportunity of engaging with our global partners to understand what was happening across the world. And then also to understand that the local consumers would be looking for a lot of protection, wellness, immunity products. So to make sure those products were available across the channels. So I think a lot of time went into ensuring supply chain availability. In the consumer sector, it was about how do we continue to be consistent in our communication to our consumers. And one of those was very much being aware that they were also going through significant uncertainty, and therefore in that space, a reassuring habit as a cup of tea in the sort of business brands that we have in tea was about ensuring availability there. So we partnered with whether it was the modern trade or the general trade in that space to make product available. Our employees, of course, went from the commonplace habit of being in office to being all out of office, but still ensuring business continued to work. So while I think it took the first 2 weeks for us to sort of catch our breath, thereafter most of our critical systems were already on the cloud. So therefore there wasn't any business critical issue, it was just a human behavioral issue of sort of engaging with each other on technology per se and hitting the ground running. And once we found our stride and sort of we had a sense of purpose of the fact that we were in essential products, we just got going. So I think across the world, people will take their health more seriously. I think what you've seen during a crisis like this is the fact that your quality of life depends on the quality of your healthcare. And therefore, there will be a lot more investment, I think, in healthcare when it comes to protection. So where we see a large change is investments by consumers itself in the space before getting unwell. While earlier it was a lot about post-sickness sort of treatment, we're going to see a lot more willingness to invest in being healthier. And we will also see, I think, consumers looking to ensure availability of product is more from a proximity approach. So we've seen that as simple as you engage with both your closest supermarket as well as the smallest retailer down the road. So you will see, I think, channel grazing, people buying across multiple. So all of us have to get our game right in terms of making product available to consumers in every way. Online is clearly going to scale in markets like Sri Lanka, which probably for pharmaceuticals or groceries wasn't really happening. It has clearly come of time during this particular crisis. We've seen, for example, in our health card online business, dramatic scaling, in terms of business requirement, but also those who want to speak to a pharmacist, online, chat with them, sort of get some advice. So I think that engagement is going to get deeper. What's happened is we've all got a shock, sort of a shock treatment when it comes to moving, off our traditional way of doing business. So one is in business processes, we've had to really escalate how we use technology to be able to do all of those things that we relied on to physically, whether it's business travel, whether it's team meetings, whether it's business processes, approvals, etc. So their technology has made a significant change. But what we have realized dramatically is our teams already had the technology, but our business processes were not as agile. And the fact that we didn't consider the fact that not only our teams could be physically mobile, but they could also skill-wise do different things. And we've seen nothing like a crisis to get people to do things that they were normally not meant to do. So we think a learning for us is a lot of our 1,000+ staff could be doing a lot more different processes, could be doing a lot more different roles. That mobility in the skill, in the talent within the group, I think we would like to harness that. We really want to make sure that while we appreciate the technology, we see that the people using the technology could be doing a lot more. And we're very bullish that that's an area we want to learn and fix. Sunshine as a group has been invested across healthcare and consumer, which will cut across most of the population or everybody. We're also in agribusiness and renewable energy. So across all four, we think are very much linked to what we call nation building sectors, which is as the country grows, right? We're at $5,000 GDP. It is a matter of time and effort for us to double that as a country. And when we do that, I think what will happen is you will unleash a lot of growth across sectors. And we feel both the healthcare and consumer sectors will where a lot of this growth will come from. So we're very bullish about the future of what will happen in the market. We're very bullish that the country will rebound significantly. Right? And in that context, what we think is for ourselves to be confident in investing for that growth to come. We will resolve this matter. Healthcare has had some great news recently when it comes to the vaccines, etc. So once you put that behind us by middle to the next third quarter of next year, I think the country will rebound sharply and strongly in our traditional businesses like exports as well as tourism. But I think overall, in terms of growth as a country, we are hungry for growth. Right? We've been on this trajectory before this. So I clearly believe that will happen, and Sunshine as a group wants to make sure we're right there in the middle of the action when this happens.